People are understanding something, are bringing peace in their lives. And you can be a part of the magic regardless of where you are. It's great to be here in the East Coast, Washington area. Mainly great to be here to talk about what is important. We live in a world that is constantly tugging at us for its attention, for our attention. So many things going on in a day that you forget how it all began, how it all ends. But I'm here not to preach to you, because I don't do that. And I'm not here to try to prove anything, because what I talk about, it has to be felt, not proven. So what is it? To put it in some perspective, say that there's a building, a new building, and it has just been constructed. It's the tallest building in the world. It's really, 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 really tall. And this guy wants to see it, so he walks over to the building, stands in front of him, and he's looking up to try to see the top of the building. Unbeknown to him, they're moving a piano to the very top floor. And unbeknownst to him, the piano has just cut loose. And even though it's not free falling, it is falling. It is falling at enough of a velocity that when this guy gets hit with this piano, he's going to be pretty flat. So, what is relative here? Now let's go talk about something else. This piano is still falling, but let's go talk about something else. What is there to talk about? Oh, there's so much. There's this war going on, the civil war going on in Syria. There's stuff happening in Afghanistan. There's stuff happening in India. There's stuff happening in Pakistan. There is, of course, the great economic crisis going on in the Western world. And people are just trying to dodge bullets, left and right, trying to make a better life for themselves. And the piano is still falling. So all this is going on in this world. Literally every single part of this planet has got some issue going on. And yet there is one issue, which is this piano, which is headed for this guy. He doesn't see it. What should happen? And this piano is still falling, hasn't stopped. What is important? And what is important if that person is you? for whom this piano is headed. I'm just trying to draw a scenario and compare the two things. On one hand, there's a million conversations going on in a small area of Washington, D.C. I mean, just if we were to sample just a small area, there's all these conversations. People are talking about this. People are talking about how they were late today. People are talking about how this isn't happening, how they have to fire their contractor, how they have to change their carpet, how they haven't gotten their, contract for their cell phone. I mean, all of these things, all these mundane things are going on. But the piano is still falling. And you heard, 70-year average, 25,550 days is how long we are on the face of this earth. I know some of you are sitting there going, wait a minute. We Americans, we live a lot longer. Hey, you want to try for 100? 100 years? Simple math. Just add 2 zeros. 36,500 days. It's still not that much. That's 100 years. 100. 36,500. The piano is falling. The piano is certainly falling. So now, what is relative? What it should be of concern to you? To dodge the piano? It's not going to happen. People have tried. I mean, people have tried, and they have been trying for a really long time. I mean, I'm starting to notice one thing about us human beings. I mean, on one hand, we're really smart. We can go to the moon. We've done all these inventions. But sometimes we just don't get it. I mean, the same failure keeps on happening for thousands of years. Not for like 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, but thousands of years, and we still go, it might work. I mean, you talk about optimism. In some things, our optimism is so way out there that it is actually bordering on lunacy. It's no longer optimism. But that's what we do. We do not accept that which is obvious, which is real. And people are actually afraid of it. And people have even concocted that, to get this stuff, you have to give up your normal life. You have to give up your job, you have to give up your kids, you have to give up everything and go move in a monastery. Who came up with that? I mean, of course, in a monastery, you're going to be less bothered because there isn't that much there to get bothered about. Your food, you don't have to go or decide if you're going to go to McDonald's or Burger King or what. I mean, the bell is going to ring and that's going to be your food, whatever it is. But you know, even the monks, they weren't satisfied with it. You know what they were doing, some of them? Inventing cappuccino. Incredible desserts. Champagne. You know why? Because Kabir said, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't matter who you are. This thing is going all over the place. From here to there, to there, to there, to there, to there, to there, to there. And all, why is it going? He doesn't say that. I'm putting this in. Why is it going? Gratification. We want gratification. Do you agree? You know what gratification means? Nobody has a problem with the word gratification. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that's obvious. You know, I want to be a lawyer and I want to have a good practice because that brings me gratification. I mean, you know, there's no problem with that. But do you know what gratification means? Contentment. Look it up. I don't have to prove this to you. You know this. But if I say contentment, I don't agree with that. I don't do anything for contentment. Gratification? Oh, yes, gratification. Contentment. Now you think contentment is mandatory or optional? The piano is still dropping, by the way. But is contentment mandatory or optional? I've got both sides of the brain working now. Ding, 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 playing ping pong. It is mandatory. Thank God it is mandatory. No more complex than the baby crying, and when the baby is comforted, crying stops. Mother knows this little secret. When the baby is really, really young, there is really no point in telling the baby, you shouldn't cry. I'm not going to understand it. But the mother knows there's something wrong. Let's find it. And usually, the culprit is the diaper. So the mother goes for the diaper. Oh, change the diaper. Baby is fine. If the diaper is fine, next thing, hunger. Are you hungry? And if it isn't that, maybe you are tired. So, and the baby. And that gratification happens, when that contentment happens, a person is in the state they need to be. All that we do, the piano is still falling, but all that we do is to have that gratification. When you give, there is a feeling of gratification. But so far, that giving happens on your terms. When that giving is non-voluntary, somebody robs you, you don't go, thank you, that feels so good. It isn't a question of giving. It is a whole set of circumstances. When it happens that way, you feel gratification. So we're just getting to the very bottom end. So what do you think truly gratifies you? If you say family, I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing with you. Family can be very gratifying if they're nice. Well, if they're not, that can make it very, very bad. Your career, your friends, your hobbies. And then there is one more. And the source of that gratification, the source of that contentment, is none other than you. You are the one. You've heard that one before, right? You're the one. One. You are the one. Have you ever thought about one? One is a whole, complete. Anything less than a 1 is decimal, 0.9998, not 1. 2 is only a replication of that 1. 3 of that 1. But there is the 1. Who is the 1? You are the 1. On whom the piano is about to fall. That's just how it is. Now, what can this one do till the piano hits him? Anything? That's what we're here to talk about. A lot. that you have the desire to be content, that you have the desire to be fulfilled, and you have the source of that fulfillment within you. Those prisoners that you saw the video of, they wanted gratification too, and they thought all those things that were not so good were giving them gratification. Now the gratification comes from within them. Within them. And within you is the source of that joy. Within you is the clarity. Within you is the thirst. Within you is the simplicity. Within you is the well that can quench your thirst. Within you are the answers. Within you are the answers. Within you is the magic of existence. So people go generally, if this is true, how come I don't know about it? There is an assumption. There is an assumption that everybody makes, that what you're looking for is not within you. I mean, anywhere but within you. It's somewhere else. When you go shopping, everyday grocery shopping, first thing you do is you check your refrigerator, see what you have. Then make a list of things you don't have. Then you can go and buy them. What is the point in buying those things that you already have? Do we do that in our lives? What do I have? Who educates us on that? Who educates us? When we say, where is God? 99% of the people go like this. Not like this. They go like this. Somewhere up there. Where is heaven? Would you, even for a second, consider the possibility that that divine resides within you? For a second, consider the possibility, because the implications are enormous, unbelievable. Unbelievable. Who are you? On one hand, dirt and 70% water. 70% water can talk, 70% water can think. I mean, you realize there's bones, there's muscle, there's nails, there's hair, there's teeth. right? And 70% of all this is water from here to there. Well, whatever is left isn't that much. This is 30% left, right? And of that 30%, then you have the bones, the muscle, the hair, the eyes, the this, the that. It's getting less and less and less. What have you got left? Well, but wait a minute. 70% water, it can think, it can appreciate, it can dance, it can look, it can admire, it can feel. That's a pretty cool trick. When I first heard that a human being is like 70% water, I'm like, wow. Not wow like wow, I'm like, wow. This is a cool miracle. That's a cool trick. For us, we see it if somebody walks on water. Wow, you're divine, you walked on water. Here's the water walking. And that's not divine. No. So many assumptions are made. Away. The good is away from me. When the good resides in the heart of every human being. Always has. Always has. We look at the complexities of our societies, we look at the technology, and we are bewildered. Wow, where is the world headed to? We say, what will they think of next? Listen, the real genius was the person who said, we need to communicate with these people who live on the other side of the valley. Maybe we can use drums. Maybe we can make smoke signals. You've heard about that, right? Smoke signals and drums to communicate. Well, iPhone is just to take off on it. They're still trying to perfect that. It is. And in fact, in the process of perfection, because before that, when you went to Joe the drummer to say, I need to say this to this valley, could you drum this out for me? Joe would say, listen, this better be important. And of course, you had to have Joe as a reasonably sane, important man, because one wrong beat and you got war on your hands. So Joe had to be competent, and Joe knew that if he's going to beat out this drum, it better be exactly what it needs to be, and important. Now, in the processes, everything that's unimportant. Where are you? How are you? How come you haven't SMS me? Phone ring. Hello? I just wanted to call to say if you were there. You think I'm dead? when there isn't the focus, the piano is still falling. And whatever this person decides to do, they need to focus. Don't you think so? They need to focus. The piano is the piano. You are you. And just because what is happening in the predicament, in the situation, you need to focus. You need to focus in your life. Question is, do you focus in your life? As human beings, we are not focused at all. And the consequence? We are all over the place. Destroying has become our forte. Destruction has become our forte. If destruction becomes our forte, are we destroying the time that we have on the face of this earth? 25,550 is not a lot. And where is the focus? The question becomes, is the focus to have that joy in this life? Is the focus to be content, to be fulfilled, or is the focus in bewilderment? What do you entertain as a thought every single day? Gratitude, or I wonder what's next? You have both possibilities. You have the possibility of being in a place where you entertain that one singular, most beautiful thought of gratitude, of fulfillment. Or you have the possibility of bewilderment. Bewilderment will not bring you gratification. Never has, never will. Knowing, feeling, experiencing will. I'm not talking about believing. Don't mistake me. I'm not talking about believing. I know there are believers. I have news for the believers. Knowing is one grade up. If you are a believer, knowing encompasses believing. But believing does not necessarily encompass knowing. So do you know? The one? You? Do you? When I say, and I quote Socrates, Kabir, all these wonderful people, because they said, whatever you're looking for is inside of you. You should be focusing on yourself. And I say that to people, and people go, What are you talking about? Know thyself. I don't see anything in the self. There's a reason for it. And you know what the reason is? It's very simple. You know about this. The further away you go from an object, the more you can see. Right? You're standing on the surface of this earth. You can't see much of this earth. Higher you go, you see more of it. And higher you go, you see more of it. And higher you go, and you see more of it. And higher you go, so you see more of it until you see completely all of it. And then the surrounding area. And then if you keep going higher, you'll see more, and you'll see more, and you'll see more, and you'll see more. But at a price. You know what the price is? Resolution. And when you get so far away from earth, there will come a point where you won't see the earth anymore. That's the price you pay. When you cannot see the self, there is a reason for it. And you know what the reason is? You are so far away. When you cannot see the divine in you, there is a reason for it. And you know what the reason is? You are so far away. And when you cannot see or feel this heart, there is a reason for it. That is because you are so far away. And when you cannot see the preciousness of every second, when you cannot see the preciousness of every breath that comes into you, there is a reason for it. You are so far away. And the reason why you can't see the piano, because it is so far away. So, do you want to see that beauty? Come closer. I love it. I started giving this analogy, I believe it was in either Toronto or Montreal. And I've been thinking about it. Wow. You can apply this in everything in your life. Everything in your life. If you do not see sanity in your life, it's because you're too far away. Come a little closer to yourself. And you will see what Kabir saw. You will understand what Socrates understood. You will understand the preciousness of this existence. You will understand this time, that you have been given. You will understand how important it is to be content, to be thankful for what you have. Obviously, no one appreciates a gift like this till it is too late. And that is a tragedy. That is a tragedy. So many people call me when the doctor has called them. The doctor says, you have but just a few months to live. Ba-ding! I know what happens. Oh my God. That's the worst news I've heard. Oh no, I'm not going to be around anymore. Excuse me? You really thought you were going to be around forever? See how far away we have become from reality? Oh my God, I should put my life in order. If you say that, that means it is in disorder. And you should have put it in order without the doctor's call. And doctor's word is God. I mean, doctors are never wrong. Ever. Never. I work with a lot of doctors, and I have no problem giving them a piece of my mind. None whatsoever. I respect them because they studied so hard. They did. And they play a very important function. But to start believing yourself that you're always right is problematic. I mean, it's one thing, a guy works in Toys R Us and he's, all day long is surrounded by rubber duckies. But you will, even if you are a doctor, you will agree that if he starts to think he is a rubber ducky too, that's problematic. We're human beings. We are always fragile. Always, not when somebody goes around and puts a little sticker on you and says fragile. You think you become fragile that day? Cards were drawn the day you took your first breath. Do you understand the value of breath? It begins with that. You've been, when a baby is born, I have. The attention is, everybody's focus is breathing. Is it breathing? 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 It's not breathing. Not good. Not good at all. And then a miracle of miracle happens, and the first breath is drawn. The color begins to change. From this, what I can say is ugly blue. You would never paint your house that color, believe me. You wouldn't even want a shirt that color. I mean, it's an ugly blue to this beautiful pink. And up till that point, the blood is coming through the umbilical cord to you from the mother, and the signal is sent. Good to go. And slowly, the blood starts to wane. First breath, the miracle of existence. How does it end? Same way. It begins with the first one coming in, not out, in. And it ends with the last one going out and not coming in. And each breath is a one. Another one. And another one, and another one, and another. And so far, this happens, you are alive. 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 Just recently, somebody, it was like, okay, they're going to pull them off the machine. And they had everything ready, for the funeral party and everything else. I said, that's a little bizarre. Because what if they pull the plug on this guy and this guy keeps breathing? And that's exactly what happened. No party. Gotta wait. Still going, still going, still going, still going. You are going on the strength of this breath. So why am I bringing breath into this? Are you grateful for this breath? Do you recognize the value of this breath? If you don't, you are so far away. Come closer. Come closer to the self. Come closer to yourself, to your being, to your existence, to your heart. And flourish in the gratification that comes in knowing the self. It's the sweetest gratification there is. Portable? Yes. Goes wherever you go. Wherever you go. You want gratification? Turn within. There it is. Does it work in war zones? Yes. Oh, but yeah, you have come here to hear about peace, right? I mean, this is the first, here we've been going for 50 minutes. This is the first time I mentioned the word peace. That's how long it took to introduce peace. Because when you recognize the self, Peace is there. Your peace is within you. Always has been and always will be. Call it whatever you want. It doesn't matter. In this day and age, you say the wrong word and people get, you can't say that about it. I'm like, wait a minute. Something that was, is, and will be is going to get upset because you called it the wrong name. If you are in your house, which you own, and somebody out there yells, "That's not your house, get out!" Would you be bothered? I wouldn't. But if there was a thief in the house, and the thief heard, "That's not your house, get out," it'll be like, geez, how'd they find out I'm here? Guilty. That which existed before language, before human beings. Oh, we have an ego like you wouldn't believe. When did divinity begin? When we got here. No, sir. It began way before. All this that you see, wow, look what we have created. All that you have created is in fact in a constant state of destruction. It is just a matter of your frame rate, the way you see things. It's very interesting. You ever seen a fly? Fly sees things extremely fast. Very high frame rate. That's why you can't kill a fly. That's why you have such a hard time. You have to be armed. You have to have ammo. You have to have these, zappers and fly swatters. And then basically you're there like, I'm going to do this as fast as possible, but the fly sees you do this in slow motion. You ever seen a fly? There you are waiting to kill it, and it's just going about its business, taking care of cleaning up its face, cleaning up its eyes, getting prettied up. That's like a lady, takes out her little purse and a mirror, and it's like putting lipstick on and powder, and it's like it's not even concerned. And then you take your might and you go, "Phew," and the fly just goes. On the other hand, a snail never sees you. Never. Till you stop. Like, wow. I mean, can you imagine that poor snail must think all day long? It's like, these people just keep appearing and disappearing. Appearing and disappearing. And to you, you look at a snail and it's like, oh my God, that thing is so slow. It's racing. That's the frame rate. You see 24 hours as a day. In your concept, you live, like that video showed, hundreds of thousands of days. Even if you live for 100 years, that's only 36,500. It's not much. So, come closer and be in sync with your existence. That's the formula that Kabir spells out. What you're looking for is within inside of you. What you're looking for is within inside of you. And you're looking for it everywhere else. Will you ever find it? Impossible. I'm adding this to Kabir's. The reason why you do not see the presence of that is because you're so far away. Come in the vicinity, come in the proximity. Come in the proximity of what is truly important to you every single day. Commitment, to be clear, has to be made every single day, and indeed, maybe even every single moment. That's what it takes. Hey, the piano is still falling. Focus. And if you focus, maybe, just maybe, you can get out of its way. That doesn't mean there won't be another piano. But maybe not this one. That's all. That's all. Good news is, what you're looking for is within you. The bad news is, you're so far away. Come home. Come home. To you. And know. Give it a break, this business of believing. Go for knowing. Try. It hasn't been tried for thousands of years. People were simply satisfied by believing. People said, believe this, and people said, great, I believe this. Status quo. Is there peace in this world? Why? Because people are so far away from the peace. People fight, and what is people's excuse for it? Dumbest one. Dumbest one. Oh, yeah, they've been doing it for such a long time. That's like telling the police officer, officer, I wasn't just speeding here, I've been speeding the time I left my house. So it's fine. I mean, you can imagine the police officer, he'd probably start laughing. Thinking how dumb you are for volunteering that information. What is the reason? Oh, we've been fighting for a really long time, so it's okay. You don't think we have the possibility in us to have peace on the face of this earth? People say that to me. People say, oh, there's too much greed. I know. I know. And this incredible believing, it really sunk the boat this time. People said, you are worth this much. And people said, oh, great. Nobody said, give it to me then. No, in theory, you are worth this much. I was watching so many people by this one guy, I won't take his name. He would just send them receipts. You have made this much. Wow, look, I have made this much. Believed it. And this is what they said. We believed him. And I went, that's what you get for not knowing, only believing. This is just economics. And who did this? Some of the most brilliant minds, educated in some of the finest universities, with the finest of educations, but nobody told them not to be so greedy. And why did they do it? Gratification. Odd combinations. No. In your life, make a habit of knowing. It's a habit. Whatever you do most, you will get good at it. Make it a habit to know. To know the value of this breath. I'm not telling you to believe me. I'm not. I would never do that. I would never say, believe me. I would say, know what I know. You feel it too, and only then you will know. And if you want to feel that feeling within you, come closer to the self. Focus, get out of the way, let the piano fall. Another day, another day. Don't let it be wasted. The chances are you're going to get another day. And another. And another. And another. And another. Don't let them go to waste. Don't. Live your life consciously, in gratitude, in knowing, in clarity, in simplicity. And prosper. Of course, prosper. Absolutely prosper. Bloom. Bloom. But not like a flower that has been cut. Bloom like a flower as it is meant to be. Bloom. Be fulfilled.